to another episode of Women in Focus. Our woman in focus today is Nidhi Tomar, and I was taken to a place called Tatta Chulha, and the food was amazing. You can see my own photograph of my thali, and it looks amazing. I mean, even now while I'm talking about it, I feel like eating it again. And the person who owns it, her name is Nidhi Tomar, and she is our woman in focus today. Nidhi, most welcome in our program.
Thank you so much. And I'm glad you loved the food, and I will love to host you again whenever you feel like.
Oh, I'm going to bring Chris and Musa with me one
Yes.
day, and we're going to come and
Yes,
eat
you're
again.
most welcome. You're
Thank
most
you.
welcome for that.
Now, Indian food, no matter where it comes from, the north of India, the west, the south, the east, it's all different, right? What is it? Is it all the spices? Is it your love?
So for Rajasthan, which we are talking about, the Rajasthani food, Rajasthan is famous for its host, like the kind of we treat our guest.
Yes.
So for us, guest means God, next to God. So whatever we serve to guest, even a glass of water, it should fill with water plus love.
Ah.
So that's how the food is the process of how the guest receive the food.
Right.
And the other thing comes is because it's the state which has some of its natural hardships because of desert, less vegetation, less water, everything like that. But to cover the other things, people has created their own formula to cover up the natural problems they have.
Right.
So they come up with this thing that nothing get wasted.
Ah.
So they make dish out of every single thing they have. They use all the kind of ground spices. If they don't have fine spices, they use ground spices.
Really?
So the ground spices make the flavor different. And then because of it's so hot there, it's like the heat is so much, it's like nobody can imagine in Canada, it's that much hot there. It's around 40 degrees. It's go that level too.
Really?
So we are the hottest in India. So to beat that heat, you need to have something which should beat the heat.
Cools you down.
Which should cools you down.
Right.
So the use of yogurt, the use of dahi, we say, is
Yeah.
a lot. And the other thing is besan, because we have less vegetation, so
Yes.
we came out 10 dishes with besan, not just one, which is curry. We have 10 other dishes from besan. We use besan in every single thing and nobody knows it. We use in our besan in Jaipuri aloo pyaz too, just to add up the flavor.
Wow.
So it's just like how we created our own kind of flavors to beat the natural problems we have to face. Nobody is complaining, we're just overcoming with the problems with food. And the other thing is manuhar, which manuhar is basically when you're asking a person to have the food 10 times.
Yes.
So what we are serving is thal, and
Yes.
thal is incomplete if we don't force you to eat it. Force is like we tell you, please have it.
Yes.
I have so many people coming in, they said, I'm not ready to eat it, or I never tasted it, and they end up eating it.
Yes.
And they end up loving it. Because food is, you first eat food by eyes.
Yes.
What you see, you can
Yes.
have it, first thing. The other thing is food, you love the food if the host is nice to you, or the host present all the love they have in their hearts in that. And I'm glad I got the same team in my kitchen
Yes.
who's cooking every single dish like they are cooking for their own family.
My God, you explained it so beautifully. Like, while you're talking about it, I could sense, you're going through the process of making, and in the face of adversities, you've made your life, easier for everyone.
Exactly.
So, you were born in Rajasthan?
I'm brought up in Rajasthan, Ajmer.
Ajmer.
Yes. Ajmer is famous for Ajmer Sharif,
Yeah,
the Dargah.
the Khwajas and all
Khwaja
that.
Dargah. And the other thing is, we only have for us, like for Hindu belief, there is only one Brahma temple in the whole world, which is in Pushkar, which is like in Ajmer.
So Brahma has only one temple.
Yes, and that's only in Ajmer.
Now
in
there are
Pushkar.
beautiful stories about Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. Vishnu would have a lot of temples. His incarnations would have a lot of temples. Shiva has lots of temples. But Brahma, there's only one temple.
And that's in Pushkar.
Isn't that beautiful? One day maybe I'll ask you a story about Pushkar. And if we have time, we'll ask today too. But I want to find out about you. So born and brought up in Rajasthan. How many in the family?
I'm just me, my parents. I have extended family, long and you say like tight bonded extended family of my chachas, my chachis, my cousin, everybody.
Right.
Like we all in 25 people in all. Although we live all where in India, like we are basically from Meerut. But my father and my mother both was posted in Rajasthan, Ajmer.
Yeah.
And then I'm born, brought up in Ajmer. But every summer breaks are like together, like close. And I am the eldest kid of the whole family.
I see, the whole clan.
Whole clan. But single to my parents. I don't have any real brothers, sisters.
Yes.
So I'm the only kid for my parents. So we are in like three, my mom, dad and me. But yeah, but we are still like, feels like 25 people together. No bonding apart, still not bonding apart.
The most beautiful thing about Indians is the extended family and the love we have for our cousins.
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
I want to take a very short commercial break and come back and ask you about how you met your husband. Why did you decide to come to Canada? Are you happy in Canada? And then Tatta Chulha.
Yes.
And why Tatta Chulha? Because Tatta Chulha to me seems like a Punjabi word, but it is also a Rajasthani word, I guess. Okay, so let's take a short break and come back to Nidhi.
Yes.
Nidhi is our woman in focus today. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Women in Focus. Our woman in focus today is Nidhi Tomar. Now the word Tomar, last name Tomar, so that is that Rajasthani then?
No, it's Meerut.
Meerut, right. So how far is Meerut from Ajmer?
So Meerut is in Uttar Pradesh.
Uttar Pradesh, yeah.
Yes.
So you are a UPite, really?
I'm a UPite.
Okay.
I'm basically from Baghpat. If you have heard about Chaudhary Charan Singh, the Prime Minister of India, that is his district. My parents, my grandparents, we have ancestral home, we have our ancestral village there, everybody's there. And that's my father's name. I added one more name to this name, which is Chaudhary. So now I am Nidhi Tomar Chaudhary.
So Chaudhary is your husband's?
My husband's last name. So I just added his name, I didn't remove my dad's name.
So that is beautiful. And he wasn't upset about that?
No, he's pretty happy about it.
How did you meet him?
So we are like family friends. My family and his family, we know each other since forever, since we were kids, like 4 years, 6 years of age.
No kidding.
Yeah, but it's like my father-in-law, his dad, he is a athletic coach for SAI, Sports Authority of India.
Right.
So he was everywhere in India because they got transferred. So we were together like when we were kids for 2-3 years, and then they moved to Gujarat for a span, and then we stayed back in Rajasthan. But families were still in contacts. It's arranged marriage.
Right. Were you seeing anybody else at that time?
No.
That's not done.
It's not uncommon in India now, it's fine, but I was not, because I finished my MBA and I got campus placement right away with ICICI Bank. So you can say there was no time for anything else.
So no meeting guys, no nothing. But were parents strict about that, or was it understood that you are not supposed to be meeting anybody until you get married?
It's not like that. My parents was, you can say, like, you know how upbringing in our families and Canadian families are compared. If you say, I have Canadian parents, and both were like principals.
Right.
They both were principal. They were handling schools.
Yes.
So I had a different kind of upbringing where we talked about everything from politics to normal to general knowledge on our dining table every single day. I used to get autobiographies of great people.
Yes.
So I finished Karl Marx when I was in standard 9th.
Wow.
So it was like their normal practice. When is my summer breaks or any breaks, they give me the books to read. We have like house full of books. So, and then we talk about general knowledge a lot, like politics everywhere. Of Indian politics, American politics, like everything.
Yes.
Or general knowledge questions, what's going on in the world, what's going on. So this is the kind of upbringing I got.
Right.
And then instead of learning how to cook food, I was trained how to change a tire of a car. So it's a different kind of upbringing. I never did anything in my house. Like if I'm fair to that say, never. Like until I get married, I never did anything. It's like just if I want to have to do anything, like to want to just for my own happiness.
Yes, I do.
Otherwise, I never did. Like nothing.
It's interesting that you say that, and yet you are owner of a restaurant.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll come back to that in a minute. So then you decided, mom and dad proposed, but you decided that you wanted to marry this guy.
We met.
Yes.
We talked.
Yes.
And we decided that we're gonna get married, and that's how we got married. And then then we started.
Are the families both the same
Yeah.
status and all that?
Yes, everything is like same.
It wasn't difficult for you to move from your house to their house?
No, they still, my in-laws still call me from my home nickname. They didn't even
What
call
is your
me.
nickname?
It's so embarrassing to say on TV.
Is it? Is it bad?
No, it's just like I'm a mother now, so it's
Yes.
it's like
Nikki.
different. It's Niku.
Niku.
Yeah.
That-
So they still
so-
call me. For them, I'm never been a daughter-in-law. I'm
Yeah.
like always
Their
their
daughter.
on their own daughter, and never treated like an outsider.
Yes.
Because I was never like I'm like part of the family forever, you can say.
Right.
And it's like from the day one, it's like that only. So I was like never had.
So how many kids do you have?
So I have 2 kids, 2 girls.
2 girls. Isn't that just beautiful?
Yeah, it's amazing.
So when did you move to Canada?
So we came to Canada in 2015.
Okay.
And it was because my husband is a VFX software programmer.
Okay.
He works for like this Hollywood movies, you say.
Right.
So he got a job with Sony Imageworks.
Okay.
That's on Georgia,
Right.
Georgia's downtown. And we came here as on work permit.
Okay.
And my daughter was around 2 years when we moved here.
Right.
So we decided, like
Yes.
because VFX industry is only in either in Canada or in US.
Yes.
So we decided to move, to relocate to Canada for his start. And I was like, I'm an MBA, I'll lose something, I'll
Yeah.
find something. I was
Yeah.
a banker back home.
Okay.
And then I taught in university for like a year. And then I took a break when my little one was born.
Right.
So when I came here, I was like just a mom and a housewife. Applied for Shaw Communications in 2017.
Right.
And they interviewed me and I got the job within 2 days. And I was like, okay, I got a job. Let's start the career here. So I decided to start part-time because she was little. She was just 3 years old.
Right.
I didn't wanted her to like be...
Yeah. So part-time job with Shaw.
I started part-time with Shaw. And it was basically sales and customer handling, which was because I am a MBA marketing.
That's right. So it was your forte.
Yeah, it was my forte, and it was like talking is fine with me. I can talk, convince people. So that I had a very nice, or you can say amazing year with Shaw.
Yeah.
And then, but banking is something which always
Interested you.
Yeah, it's always like in my head, in my heart.
Yeah.
So after a year, and I know I could have been good in Shaw. They wanted me to, but I decided now I can try bank again because now I have Canadian experience, everything. So I applied with RBC and I got the job. Like I didn't have to do it twice. I just applied once and I got the job with main branch, Georgian branch, and that was like amazing learning. There where I learned a lot of things. Like show was amazing too, but show was like you're not meeting actual people, you're just talking on phone.
Yeah.
Here you actually meet people.
That's right.
Here you learn so many things.
Right.
I got so many opportunities in the bank to learn.
Yeah.
And like it's like for a new immigrant to
That's
give
it.
exactly
Yeah, dream come true.
and they let you do that. They give you the option to learn. That's important. So then I was like thrilled to be with RBC. I got pregnant with my second kid when
Okay.
I was working with RBC only after
Right.
a year. And that's how Tatta Chulha born.
Good idea. Okay, let's take a short commercial break and talk about Tatta Chulha. Okay?
Yes.
And the name.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
Nidhi Tomar is our woman in focus today. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Women in Focus. Nidhi Tomar is our woman in focus today. So, you had your second kid and Tatta Chulha was born. Did you name her Tatta Chulha?
No. It's just like when I was pregnant, I was craving for this food.
Oh, okay.
And I told my husband, and he was like, he always wanted me to be an entrepreneur. Like,
Right.
he's that kind of person. He always wanted me, he never wanted me to do a job.
Right.
He said,
Do your own.
do your own. You have more energy there, and you have more capabilities to do. Like you'll shine if you do something of your own. And I was the one like, okay, fine. I have to manage everything. How will and everything.
Yeah.
All kind of questions.
Right.
And then I was craving, and I was telling him, you know what? On my maternity leave, I'll open this. And he's like, oh, you are just on hormones. You're not
Yeah,
talking
you're
sense.
crazy.
But it was like then the seed was like sowed.
Yeah.
And then I had my baby, and she was like 4 months old, when he said that you have a chance now. Like it's like you have 18 months and 4 months are already gone. You
Yeah.
still have 14 months. If you want to do something, you
Do
need
it
to
now.
prepare yourself for that. So after 14 months, you can start something.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, now I have time. I might have to.
Might as well.
Yeah,
think
and the
of doing
other
that.
thing which was in my back of my mind was like, I feel my elder one was going to daycare after school and everything, and that's break my heart every time I go pick her up, because I pick her up around 6 and she was the only one from the daycare to be picked.
Oh.
And she was just 6 years old, 5.5, and
Yeah.
it's always pains me a lot. She never had any summer breaks, any winter breaks, because I was working.
Yeah.
She didn't know what summer break is. So
Right.
first time she had summer break when I was on my mat leave.
Right.
Then Christmas break when I was on my mat leave. So then that forces me, like, let's have something of my own, so I
Yeah.
can take off for them. And so I told him that I'm good at, and I love cooking. I didn't know cooking until 10 years back, before my marriage, you can say, but we both are foodies. Like foodies, like we experiment, and he loves to eat, cook, and criticize. So, and I love cooking.
Yeah.
This thing I got it from my mom.
Yeah.
She every time in my house it's like food. We are 3, but it's
Yeah.
food for 5 people or 6 people. She's always ready for guests.
Now in your thali, I noticed you had 6 main, 1,
Five.
2, 3,
5
4,
curries.
5 curries.
4
And-
breads.
Yeah, 4 breads. And then
2 snacks.
Yeah,
1 drink.
yeah,
2 dessert, and rice.
right.
And then it's 16 items in all
For 1 thali.
for 1 thali.
Wow.
And then whatever you see, like all the veggies, all the snack, all the dessert, you get 1 free refills. We serve you hot. And then roti and rice. Breads have no caps. You can have as many rotis, rice as you can. how much you can eat for that. But
that was too much to eat.
yeah, but it's like this is how the food is served back home India.
Wow,
This
isn't
is
that
how
just
thali
beautiful?
is, yes.
What is the most typical Rajasthani dish?
So dal bati churma is the one, which is
The big ball.
the
and
big bowl of dal and then the bati, the
right.
baked one, and then churma laddu comes with that.
Oh.
And then gatte ki sabji is one more other thing which goes with that, and
Yeah.
it comes with garlic chutney, the super
yeah.
hot garlic chutney.
That's right.
So that's like the basic dishes.
So did you have to learn all this?
I because was like our weekend food back home. And my husband loved this, so I learned how to cook it. And when I cook it 10 times, 20 times, 200 times,
Gets
you are
better.
mastered it. Yeah.
Yes.
And then it was like my husband's friends, they always come home and ask for it. So
So you had to do that as well.
Yeah.
So what about spices? And are they all Indian spices that are used elsewhere in India, or did you have to get?
no, we just use normal ground spices.
Okay.
And whatever spice we have to make, we make it. Like we have our own chaat masala, which is recipe what my mom used to use. It's like you mixes 3-4 spices and you get the right spice.
Spice, that's right.
So in Rajasthan, you make your own spices. We don't
Right.
use market garam masalas or
No.
those kinds. We make our own.
Own garam masala.
We make our own.
All the spices
all
are
the
made by
spices.
yourself. Yeah.
We bought ground and
Yeah.
then we use our own. Whatever, how much we have to use, we
Right.
make it our own.
Nidhi, I mean, I could talk to you about food for the longest, and I wouldn't be tired, neither would you,
No.
for that matter. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
I want to. This is the first one in Canada. This is the
Rajasthani.
first Rajasthani restaurant in Canada, and I want to have it at least in BC, every prominent city in BC.
Wow.
So people will know that our food has lot of variety, especially vegetarian food.
Yes, and it's vegetarian?
It's it's only vegetarian, no egg, nothing, no meat, and we do have vegan options.
Wow. Now the address of this place is?
It's 147 East Broadway. It's in between Main Street and Quebec Street.
Beautiful.
So it's right there.
On the north side.
North side, yeah. When you're coming from Main Street, it's like just
That block.
20 meters. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's there.
Well, I thank you very much for coming
Thank
to our
you.
studios
Thank you.
and talking to us.
Thank you.
Our story is left halfway there, but we'll invite you again and maybe just talk about food and nothing else.
Yes. we
How
can
about
do
that?
Yes, we can do that. Yeah, we can do that for sure.
Thank you, Nidhi.
Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you.
Nidhi Tomar has been our Woman in Focus today. Don't go away. We'll be right back.